Good evening to you. Welcome to the Channel 24 Analysis Show. My name is Robinson Okenye. I am with Cedric Musumba and Roger Sishtemi. And in a bit, we'll be getting deeper into Group A. The match that has just ended has seen Congo, that is DR Congo, get a win against Angola, which means Angola is out of Chan 24. They'll play their 4 games, and as it stands, they are number 4 on the standings. Now, aside from that, we'll be taking a look at the top 3 teams that we have in that group, that is Kenya, Morocco, and DR Congo. What to expect from them in the final game in Group A, which seems to be very, very interesting. I'm not also alone. On the other side, Hassan Juma is on standby. Good evening, Hassan.
We are crunching those numbers because as it stands, Kenya's Harambee Stars is perched at the summit of Group A on 7 points, followed by Morocco after that important win against Zambia. They are perched second on 6 points, followed by the Democratic Republic of Congo. Those 3 countries are fighting for the quarter-final spot, while Angola and Zambia have been knocked out of this year's Chan champions. So we ask you tonight, which 2 teams will qualify for the quarterfinals of Group A? Which 2 teams will qualify for the quarterfinals from this group, Group A? Talk to us. Our WhatsApp number is 0759 434 389. I'll take that again. Our WhatsApp number is 0759 434 389. Now, free SMS is 22151. Our free SMS is 22151. You can also talk to us on X at R_Kenye or at Hassan Juma. And of course, our producer Dennis Otachi. Robbie.
Yes, Hassan. Well, I thought that we were crossing over to Homa Bay. You know, our colleague who's enjoying the fish in Homa Bay. But now that he's decided to come back, good evening, Kariuki. How are you?
I am very fine. Otachi samaki utakula, Otachi. Yeah.
But pole pole.
Thank you very much, Robi. Kuja pole pole. Mimi nasubiri kwa Kariuki standby. Otachi umenipeleka wapi tena? Lakini asante sana Robi, and also Hassan Juma. And just like you have put it, we are here in Homa Bay. And even as we go on with the matters to do with the Devolution conference, we are also following keenly on what Kenyans from this side of the country are talking about the Chan 2024. And they have actually welcomed this idea to have fan-based areas where Kenyans are going to be watching the game on Sunday. But even as before I say what the fans are talking about, Hassan has already said the question that we are having today. Na mimi pia ninatembea na WhatsApp kila mahali na kisha niko na what is up kila mahali. Kwa hivyo I'm going to be also seeing the messages on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 0759 434 389. That's 0759 434 389. That's our WhatsApp number, and you're going to get the messages. And I just want Robbie to just have just read 1 or 2 messages from the WhatsApp number, because we had already put the question there earlier on. Wengi wanasema ni Kenya na Morocco. Like we have one saying, I think Kenya and DRC. That is DRC will qualify as number 1. Hajasema jina. And then there is Kenya and Morocco. There is another one saying Kenya and Morocco will qualify for the quarters. And then Kenya and Morocco also another one. Na pia unaandika jina unapotuma your message so that we can also know some of the people who are sending the messages. Kenya and Morocco, those are some of them. And also, Robi, Hassan, we have the same question on our social media handles. Tunaongea kuhusiana na KTN News Kenya kwenye Facebook page na vile kwa Standard Digital kwenye Facebook na all the other social media platforms. That's the X and also TikTok. Let me just read 1 or 2 from KTN News Kenya. That's on Facebook. Tumuramie Boaz anasema Morocco and Kenya, and then we have Peter Mash, Kenya and Morocco, and also Zambia Someone else, Kane Sam anasema Zambia, and say, you're Zambia. I'm not sure about that. Iko mbali kidogo, bearing in mind that the position they hold on the Group A. Kenya Daima says, hiyo imepita. Babake Matthews anasema Kenya Morocco. Then Mam Leah says Kenya and Morocco. So definitely most people on some of the messages that they've sent right now are talking about Kenya and Morocco. But well, we'll see what happens once Kenya plays on Sunday and also Morocco plays its final game. And people here are talking about Kenya also making it to the quarterfinals and completing the group stages at position 1. So definitely it's something that we are looking forward to see what happens then. On Standard Digital, Robbie and Hassan, before I take it back to you, Joseph Njogona says Kenya and this, I think the person means DR Congo. Ameandika the other way around. Kenya and Morocco, that's Samson Karori. Says, actually, he says Morocco. Kenya and Morocco will qualify for the quarterfinals, but Morocco will carry Chan Cup. I remember if they do that, I think it will be the third one they're going to be having. If Angola win today, that one must win the next match to qualify. That's Njori Twist. And then Wamwisho, Shadrack Wafula anasema Kenya at number 1 at group stages. And also Fatuma Osundwa says Kenya and Morocco. Those are just some of the messages that we have already received on the social media handles, as well as 0759434389, the WhatsApp number. So niko nayo tu, nitakuwa namna hii napitia ni alafu ninakupa matokeo. Over to you, Robbie.
Asante sana Daniel Karaoke, mtu wa Mrima. Endelea kula mbuta hapo kando.
Ni Hassan.
Endelea kula mbuta. Robbie, take it away.
Unajua mbuta ya hapa?
Mbuta ya hapa? Maliza tu.
Mbuta hapa ni tofauti sana na ya Kwale.
No, umeanza mapema kabla hata tujaanza show. Robbie, take it away.
Well, of course, thank you very much, Daniel Kariuki. And there is something that they say, kuna watu huwa wanahama na equipment ya kampuni. So I don't know how you managed to go with the WhatsApp number na siache hapa. That's something I don't understand, but I want us to get into our conversation tonight. It's all about the focus on Group A matches. We had 2 matches on the cards which have already ended, and we want to begin with Morocco. Yes, they got a 3-1 win today and against Zambia, so which means they are back in contention of qualifying to the quarterfinals of CHAN 24. First, let's take a look at the highlights. In that tie that was played at the Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi. Let's get into that conversation. Cedric Musumba, Morocco, back to winning ways, 3-1 against Zambia, and they are now firmly in a position that they can qualify to the quarterfinals. What did you make of that display from the Atlas Lions?
The powerhouse display. You will say that actually they came in knowing very well what are 3 points important to them, and they know how to grab points where it's necessary. Could see how they settle down very fast. They could actually start giving the pressure that is required against Zambia. And every time I think they stood at a very high chances of scoring ahead of Zambia, which and again resulted when Mohamed Remarks scored that opener goal. Actually places Zambia in a disarray. Because there was no way Zambia could go ahead and try to look for an equalizer given the danger that Morocco was posing. All questions that Morocco are
let's get to Eshtemi first. That display shows you a team with intent, that they are not out yet.
Actually, they should have won with a bigger margin because they created a plethora of scoring chances, but they're just fluffing their lines. But at the end of it all, they managed to get it back and won it at least a bit later. That is after some controversy of disallowing the Zambia goal. Immediately after disallowed of that goal, they went on to score the second goal, and then deep into the end, substitute came on and then made things easier for them. Just hit the final nail in the already dead Chipolopolo casket. But that now has actually made this group look like a group of death, because you have to fight until the end, and that means you'll go down to the wire for us to be sure exactly who is going to come out from this Group D as number 1 and number 2.
Number 1 and number 2. Sedo, what next for Zambia?
Zambia is as well as eliminated.
Yes,
they're out
of the tournament.
They're out.
But what next for them?
They're on a 0 point. Remember, this is Chan, and Chan does not actually place Zambia anywhere. Similarly, simply because this player just going back to their clubs. And I don't necessarily see any player from the Zambian squad that has really attracted any scout in this particular tournament.
So, Cedric, let me cut you short. We take a short break. We'll be back in just a bit.
And of course, tonight we're asking you which 2 teams will qualify to the quarterfinals from Group A. Which 2 teams will qualify for the quarterfinals from Group A? We know Harambee Stars, Kenya's Harambee Stars is patched at the summit on 7 points, followed by Morocco on 6 points. But the difference is really so small. So talk to us. Our WhatsApp number is right on your screen. Free SMS 22151. Mutu wa Murima.
Is you standing?
Mutu wa Murima ako wapi? Daniel Karaoke?
Yes, nakupata vizuri kabisa. Unasema kwamba SMS, nasikia unasoma SMS tofauti, na mimi niko na what is up 0759 434 389. Wacha nisome 2-3 ambazo zimeshaingia pale. Kuna good evening, Morocco and Kenya will qualify. That's MJ. Yuko Migori, hapa neighboring tu. Homa Bay na Migori tu ni Puana. Nasema Puana nini? Na mdomo. Alafu kuna Kenya number 1, huyo ni Luther. Then indeed this mwingine anasema indeed this was a death group. Kenya, Congo to the quarters, Morocco must suffer. Huyo ni Lucas akiwa Nakuru. Alafu hi, I'm Dan Ouda from Lakisama. It's Kenya and Morocco. Hizo ni kutoka pale kwa WhatsApp. Alafu Standard Digital kwenye Facebook nisome 2-3 wale ambao wameshasema. Jenga wa Smokies. Jenga wa Smokies anasema Kenya na Morocco. Philip Okwach pia anasema Kenya Morocco. Emily Olo pia Kenya Morocco. Timothy Moguche nasema Atlas and Harambee and game ya Sunday tuko Kasa. Na sio mambo ya mascreen katika mitaa ya miji. Hapa lazima tupige kazi. Asante Timothy Moguche. Lucas Kagongo akiwa hajasema yuko wapi. Kenya and Morocco. And then we have Prince Kodi, Ghana Diehard anasema Kenya and Morocco. And maybe zingine 2. Teacher Derek Kalama, Kenya and Angola. Morocco anaenda home. Haya. They are at number 2 by the way as we speak. Silas Lugania, Kenya. And then Kabila Sudhe anasema Congo. Na wa mwisho Yegon Wilson anasema Kenya. Kabisa. Hizo ndio baadhi ya arafa ambazo nimeweza kupokea hapa Hassan nikiwa katika county ya Homa Bay.
Asante Daniel Karaoke from Homa Bay County. Nipitie tu a few of your messages here. Kenya and Morocco. I'm Norman from Kisumu. Kenya and Morocco. Donald. The show is lit and Stars is on fire. Sahi tunataka combination ya Chelsea na PSG. Hassan. Hii imeenda. Oyalo, Wycliffe, Kenya and Morocco and DRC. Kenya and Morocco and DRC. Na sisi tunasema 2 teams. Morocco and Congo. Ooh, okay. Alphonse from Kisumu, Ahero Kochogo. Kenya and Morocco will qualify to the next stage. Kenya will qualify to the quarterfinal by Isaiah Katekis from Mutuati Parish, Murundu, KK Murundu Prayer House. Sante sana. It's Sami, Kenya and Morocco. Kenya, DRC. Sam Ferguson. So most of the guys here are putting the money on Kenya, the host, and Morocco. Kwa hivyo Robi and Sedo and Rogers Eshitemi. I don't know what guys wanasema. Nyinyi mnaonaje yani?
Thank you very much, Hassan Juma. So remember we were talking about that tie between Morocco and Zambia at the Nyayo Stadium. And Cedric, I interjected you quite a number of times. But now it's time to, lay your point across.
You are about actually to ask me what next to Zambia. And I think their club, the Kabwe Warriors, Power Dynamos, the Zesco United, they are just laughing. They will have to welcome their players back to their clubs and start preparing for other function, if may it be CAF Confederation or Africa Championship. Similarly, simply because there's nothing, their players will remain in Nairobi doing. The good scenario of our Nairobi will actually not be ready to welcome for the Zambians. And I think if there is a team that has never acclimatized to an environment which has and again resulted to the result they have given is Zambia, I no wonder why they come in late. Maybe that one would have been the results as a result of how the performance has actually been going to. Given to the essence that they are just closer here, they wouldn't have waited until the tail end of the tournament or the eve of the tournament for them to report to Kenya. They would have come in early enough, acclimatized, even if it's to get the touch of these particular fields and everything before the tournament. But and again, that's how the beauty of the tournament. Similarly saying that now they have left all the burden to South Africa. It's the only South African team that is similarly being seen like it will be left into the tournament. Angola, they are packing and going. Zambia here, they are also packing and going. So they just come to rally behind their South Africa counterpart and support them to the latter and ensure that maybe they surge in a field semi. And maybe, who knows, they can, because they similarly play good football, they can as well as find themselves into the final. But the Zambia chapter, the likes of Chonga, Firi, Bwalia, they need just to go back and start preparing for their clubs.
Of course, that is all about Morocco and Zambia. Now, the second match, so DR Congo take on Angola at the Kasarani Stadium, and it was Fimbu na Fimbu for DR Congo as they got a win against Angola. Well, we'll be coming back to that in a bit. So let's take a look at the table standing in Group A. Table standing in Group A after the completion of those two matches. Kenya still at the top of Group A with 7 points, followed by Angola. No, that is the wrong... Well, Group A, Kenya, 7 points. Then you have Morocco with 6 points, followed by DR Congo, also 6 points. Angola with 4, and Zambia yet to get a point in the tournament so far. Now, we want to take a look at the permutations in this group because we have 2 teams with 6 points and 1 team with 7 points heading into the final game of CHAN 2024. Now, Cedric, Kenya will be playing Zambia on Sunday, a team that has nothing to lose.
It's so hard to play a determining kind of match like whatever Kenya will be facing to a team that has got nothing to. Remember, Zambia will have the luxury of bringing as in fielding in those players that has not been gracing the matches. And it will be so hard for Kenya even to aggress and understand the permutation of those particular players that will be coming from base. Similarly, simply because their coach at some point will just need to at least give this player a tournament feel. And that tournament feel sometimes it can be so quite different to the likes of McCarthy, simply because one, he would be able to really know zonal marking of this particular player. He will not even understand how this player actually are necessarily their playing style. And similarly, given that the first 3 matches Zambia has played, it will become so hard to try and reorganize a team that can really try and address the issue of Zambia. So as to say, Zambia are literally coming into this particular game to spoil up the match. And really spoiling up the match, does it mean Zambia wants those 3 particular points? And those 3 particular points can really give them something at least to take back home with. And it can as well as flip. There's a permutation of Kenya. Because remember, if Kenya happens to lose against Zambia, it means that Kenya, it stands at a chance of not necessarily either qualifying for CHAN quarterfinal, given to the permutation that actually Roger Sechitemi, you have been really talking about
Actually, it is a very difficult situation. You can't actually know what's going to pan out on the final day of this Group A because, we have already spoken indeed. This has ended up being a group of death because, look, Zambia have nothing to lose. You have already said, and they can just come there to spoil the party. Harambee Stars have to ensure they avoid defeat. And this defeat also can motivate them to win so that they can have that home advantage in the quarterfinals. Remember, right now, we are seeing there's a very Morocco and DR Congo have a better goal difference. That is +3. Harambee Stars has +2. So, if by chance maybe they decide to draw, maybe based on the rule book, CAF rule book, they might go using it where we go by the goal difference. But going on what they have been published on the CAF website, they are basing it on head-to-head. If it's head-to-head, then Harambee Stars have a chance because they already have beaten Congo and they have beaten Morocco. But if they go as per the rules and regulations that are in the CAF Chan handbook, definitely things are totally different together. So I feel maybe there's not room for Harambee Stars to maybe to be complacent because it is now in their own hands. There's a lot of pressure now. It is so difficult and it's very twisting. The twists have been just interesting in this group.
So ideally what Harambee Stars just necessarily to do is to avoid a loss at any given level.
That is if they want to qualify into the next group. But if they have to have the home advantage, playing the quarterfinals in Nairobi, then they have to win.
I think how it is currently...
But gentlemen, at the end of the day, 7-6-6-4-0. 4-0 out, 6-6-7.
You see, Robbie, how it stands right here, the top 3 teams are the one actually who are fighting for this particular contention. And as Shitemi puts it, Kenya, because of the pride that has enjoyed and necessarily the fans that has been rallying behind them, they will love it even playing here, simply because if it happened to finish on top of this particular table. But as it is, Zambia are coming in here as a spoiler of everything, which can as well as kill the permutation that as it stands. And that's why I was like putting this particular question to Shtemi, that we as Kenyans, Harambee Stars, what he just needed to give, if they want to enjoy that particular game and maybe come out of it with something to put a smile on our face, let them not go there all out knowing that we are just only necessarily going to win. They need to go and protect as it can to avoid any given loss. So as if the worst come to worst, they still find themselves into quarterfinal, even if it will have to fly to Tanzania, but at least they still remain in the quarterfinal. Other than going there with a mentality of winning, you are playing a team that has got nothing to lose. You can go there whole out trying to attack like what we have seen happening to Angola. They were attacking DRC. DRC were just watching them. But what has happened at the end of the game? DRC just managed their game and then happened to win at the end of it. So Kenya should not be all out trying to attack Zambia as if Zambia is not into play. Zambia can still as well as disappoint their party or spoil their party. Letting them dropping their pot at the door, which unnecessarily people have not been expecting. Remember, people have already started celebrating. We have never lost. We started by embracing. We started by beating DRC. We then picked a very dramatic draw against Angola, which and again has been a very beautiful team into this particular table. We ended up in our match 3 beating Morocco. How comes we go ahead and fall on a team of Zambia, which has been a whipping team in the entire group?
Actually, you know what? Based on this permutation, I think we have 3 cities so far. That is Kinshasa, we have Casablanca, and then we have Nairobi. At least one of them, there'll be heartbreak come Sunday. So to avoid this heartbreak, I think it is Kenya to go there. Let them just have that mentality that we have to play the quarterfinals in Nairobi, because going to Dar, things will be so difficult for them. So this thing definitely, I think we are in that situation. And also all these promises that are surrounding the team, the 2.5 million from the president, and then maybe after that, maybe getting something in the quotas. Definitely that pressure is building up, and it is too much, because they never thought finding themselves in this situation, because it was like a sure bet for them. But right now,
does it give the team more pressure?
Trust me, there's a lot of pressure in the camp right now. There's a lot of pressure.
The pressure angle comes in that we have been playing with a very young team. a team that has never been on this particular stage
And
to
we've
hold
had
us
two
kind
red
of
cards.
And if going to this particular match against Zambia with the same young team, remember, these are not players who can actually hold out, because each and every move that you make in that particular pitch, you will be actually rallying behind with your fans. May it be either by wooing or jeering and cheering. All those things will be happening in that particular pitch, to the essence that fans have already moved ahead of you. Fans are already celebrating in quarter. They're in quarterfinals. So you playing to make them continue celebrating with that momentum.
So now that we have two teams with 6 points in this group, of course, as the separation is goal difference, and there is some little bit of confusion in the CAF website. They say you will go through on head-to-head, but before the tournament began, the rule book that was there had other instructions. So let's take a look at the instructions that were given in the CHAN 24 rule book that was sent out, and this is Article 13 of that CHAN book. It says, in case of equality between two teams at the end of the group matches, the teams will be ranked according to the following criteria in the order listed. Now, Article 14.1, the greatest number of points obtained in the matches between the two teams concerned. So that is Morocco and DR Congo, if the group was to end as of now. That will actually come into play. Now, let's move to Article 14.12, and it says, the best goal difference in the matches between the two teams concerned. That will also come into play. Yes, we move to 14.13, and it says the greatest number of away goals scored in the direct encounters between the two concerned teams. Then 14.14 says the goal difference in all the group matches. And then 14.15 rather, which is I think the second last one, the greatest number of goals scored in all group matches, and then a drawing of lots conducted by the organizing committee. Yes, those are the regulations in Article 14 of the CHAN 24 rule book that was sent out by CAF. So gentlemen, we're in a catch-22 situation. We don't know if this is going to come into play, or what was released by CAF, by CHAN 24 website a few minutes ago, Eshtemi? Or, yeah, so which also says that head-to-head comes first.
Yes.
They need to come clear on that.
Yes.
And I hope they'll do that maybe before midnight.
Yes.
So that maybe to have clarity by the time maybe we head to the final round of matches, there's some clarity on it, because that confusion won't augur well with all the teams that are fighting for the two quarterfinal slots. But where I stand from Robbie, I feel whatever that was sent in the handbook, that is what needs to be applied, because those are rules and regulations that were
whole tournament.
of the whole tournament that were passed maybe by the executive, the CAF executive. They read through it and knew exactly these rules that have been being used maybe year in, year out. But maybe there could be an error on that has been published on the website. Maybe, who knows? So it's up to CAF now to come out and clear the air, tell people this is what we are following.
So which essentially, Cedric, it means Kenya needs to win on Sunday. We should not, let's not rely on this.
And
let's just win.
I totally agree with you. Remember, Robbie, we are in this tournament to win it. We are not in this tournament to qualify for quarterfinals. And if we're so warriors, so say our players are in to win it, they shouldn't actually get worried about this, because for you to win, you need to be winning against each team you meet.
Absolutely.
So they are going to play against Zambia. Let them go outside and win. This permutation, mathematics and everything, leave them for fans. But if at all Kenyan team Harambee Star wants to go ahead and win CHAN 2024, they need to beat each and every team that they face, starting by Zambia that is ahead of them. Go beat Zambia, go to quarterfinal, beat each and every team that come your way to go ahead and win that tournament. But if you start giving us mathematics, then it start telling us that you are not ready to win even this tournament. Because at any given time, I meet anyone and start speaking about permutation, mathematics and everything, the question just started lingering into back of my mind. Okay, if you bring in mathematics, are you ready to go ahead and win this tournament? Other teams are not concerned about mathematics. You look at Morocco.
Yes.
They had actually lost the game against us, they composed themselves. They have been collecting points. They are now almost actually frog jumping us. Similarly to DRC. So we need that kind of charisma. We need that kind of cool heads. These players, they need just to be told that each and every game is a win. Nothing other than win. if you want to go ahead and win CHAN 2024.
In simple terms,
let's not leave us
in simple terms, let them just win this match on the pitch. Let's not go in the boardroom, because boardroom there's a lot of heartbreak. Let it be finished at Kasarani on Sunday.
Hassan Juma, are we winning this on the boardroom or on the pitch? And what do you make of these regulations?
I agree with the two gentlemen. Let Harambee Stars win their matches at Kasarani. Let them beat Zambia and leave the other opponents to fight it out in the boardroom. I mean, as far as we're concerned, we are the hosts. Mcheza kwa utuzwa and utunzwa. Au sio? Kwa hivyo, haya mambo mengine, I looked at the rule book, CHAN, the regulations. They don't matter to Harambee Stars as long as they win. That is my take, and that is my thinking. If you can allow me to go through some of the messages from guys here, because we asked you guys which two teams will qualify to the quarterfinals of Group A, Kenya and Morocco. Kenya and Morocco, indeed, this was a death group of death, Kenya and Congo. Okay. Chamais Kipkorir, Edwin, okay, Silevio, nimechanganya kidogo. Hi, in Cliff, Kenya and Morocco, alafu Kenya na Morocco, wataendelea usia Kenya and Morocco. Let me go through the messages here. Which two teams will qualify from this so-called group of death? Because before the tournament began, Group A was group of death, but as it is now, it's Harambee Stars is patched at the summit of the group. Kenya will continue its beautiful run of the tournament. Kenya and from Israel, some from Kitale, Kenya and Morocco will qualify to the quarterfinal, but Kenya leading. For example, Kenya kwanza alafu Morocco. Another one here says Kenya and Morocco, Kenya and DRC will qualify to the next stage. Mimi ni Oyalo Wycliffe. Morocco and Congo. And CP kutoka Nyeri. Kenya will qualify to the quarterfinal because it will beat Zambia badly. And Morocco will do the same. Patrick, Nico Limuru, Kenya and Angola. Have you been following these matches anyway? Hiya. Kenya and Morocco. I'm Norman from Kisumu. Kenya and Morocco. Donald. So these are some of your feedback. Most of you guys are saying Kenya, Morocco, Kenya, but it's too close to call because the difference there is Harambee Stars 7 points, Morocco 6 points. Alafu inateremka hivyo chini. Robbie.
Thank you very much, Hassan Juma. Yes, of course, those are the views of people on which two teams will qualify from Group A. But remember, the biggest quagmire is all about the CAF regulations on how the two teams that are tied with 6 points, and who knows, maybe when it comes to Sunday, all the three teams will have 7 points. Who knows? But we are hoping that, of course, Harambee Stars will get points that will still keep it on top of Group A. But those regulations from Article 14 of the CHAN 2024 rulebook say Article 14.1 says the greatest number of points obtained in the matches between the two teams concerned. That is how, if two teams have tied on points, that is the first way they will, get the team that will go into the next phase of the competition. Now, Article 14.12 says, let's go through it. Article 14.12 says the best goal difference in the matches between the two teams are concerned. And then let's go to 14.13, which says the greatest number of away goals scored in the direct encounters between the two concerned teams. And then 14.14 says the goal difference in all group matches. And then 14.15 says that the greatest number of goals scored in all group matches. And then 14.16 says a drawing of lots conducted by the organizing committee, which Eshtemi says that we should not go into the boardroom because you never know what happens in the boardroom. Now, Cedric, whilst we are here, you take a look at these regulations and you ask yourself, why would a team want to get into this situation?
Certainly if you stop winning.
A team that plays, let me give you an example. A team that plays beautiful football like Angola should be winning their matches.
Now, a game of tournaments, a game of football, yes, more so in a tournament kind of nature, these actually presents tactics.
Yes.
And there are certain teams that actually comes, and even the Morocco that we fear most in this particular tournament. Some of them who have watched Morocco and played at a World Cup level, where they face the so-called mightier of this particular global soccer arena. They have been employing the Kenyan style of tactics, where they sit back, they defend, and they capitalize on loopholes. Their game against Spain, they played the same. When they played against Croatia, it was the same style. When they played against Portugal, but they ended up grinding point. What actually remained into the people's mind is the win. People does not remember how you play towards you, whatever you went.
Thank you for Cedric, at least now admitting what I've been pushing all along.
So necessarily to say where we are heading to, we are heading into the knockout stage. And our knockout stage starts before even we end our groups. Kenya should take it like that. Their final matches are not a knockout stage, simply because you are not supposed to lose. You are either going there to win or pick a draw. And more so, as we Kenyans, including starting from him, we does not necessarily want anything less than a win. Because if you register a loss, then it means that you are ceding your spaces to the likes of DRC or Morocco to proceed. And that should actually not be going well into our nerves, because we have been rallying behind you, have been giving you the support. We have even made you to eliminate more penalties because we are forcing our way to find our spaces to support you. Harambee Stars right now, they need actually to go back and watch as many Zambians matches as possible. Follow those players, Zambia's players who have been on the bench, how they have been playing in their club level, how strong are they, what are their weaknesses, so that they can capitalize. Actually find spaces. I think McCarthy, where he sits, and I know he's one of our best coaches in the recent years that we have acquired. I know even those boys shouldn't actually be going to their bed to rest ceremoniously. They need to start following permutations, those zonal understandings of these particular players. Whom we like, because Zambia can still pull a Kenyan style, they can deploy a different team. The NSA doesn't have anything. They can decide to bring all those players that have been warming the bench, then putting you in a disarray. Similarly, because you haven't been watching them, you don't understand their style of play. They need to move away from the first Zambian, first 11 player, because they have watched them, and start also studying if scenario B happens to them, that Zambia brings those players that have been on the bench. How strong are they? How weakness are they? Where can we capitalize on it? And that's what necessarily will make them maybe go ahead and give us the win that we are really yearning for.
Yes. Hassan Juma. Now that you know this topic has brought some lots of heat on the reason why Harambee Stars should not be going for a draw on Sunday, but rather than a straight win against Zambia, what are Kenyans saying?
There's a gentleman here says Kenya and Morocco will win, will qualify to the quarterfinals. Of course, tonight we ask you which two teams, because in all these other groups, the top two teams qualify to the quarterfinals. So the groups are, of course, there are four. So the top two teams qualify to the quarterfinals. And of course, Group A, Kenya is part of the summit, followed by Morocco. And of course, DRC, then Angola and Zambia have been knocked out of this tournament. So they're just playing the spoilers card. So let me read some of your feedback here. Kenya and Morocco, Dolphin, Kenya and Morocco will qualify for the quarterfinals. We are here to win. In fact, we cannot beat Morocco and lose. Ausio. Kenya na Morocco wataingia semifinals. Mole Francis. Hi, ni Cliff. Kenya and Morocco, alafu Kenya na Morocco wataendelea. Chemais, keep correct Edwin, Kiswahili. Nipitie tu hizi ni Richard. Kenya and Morocco. Comment Kenya and Morocco. Hi, I'm Dan Ouda from Lakisama. It's Kenya and Morocco. So, Dan Ouda, umeona screen? Utakuwa mnawatch. If you can't make it to Moi Sports Center Kasarani, utakuwa na screen hapo Lakisama for you. Good evening, Morocco and Kenya. MJ Kehancha, Migori County. Kenya and Morocco will qualify. Pius Kamuti Munyao. Kenya and Morocco, Moha from Moyale. I believe Kenya and Morocco will qualify for the quarterfinals. Kenya and Morocco all the way. Kenya and Morocco, Kenya and Morocco, Kenya and Morocco. Haya. Acha niende kwa SMS hapa zenu. Acha ni refresh hiyo ndio tupate some fresh SMS. Kenya and Morocco. It's Charity from Chesitek. It's Ian Magero from Kisumu. Kenya hadi mwisho. Hata hataki kujua ni nani na anasema tu Kenya hadi mwisho. Another person here says Kenya and Morocco. Another Maina says Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Kindly, once you send your text or SMS, if you could include your names, tell us where you're watching from. Itakuwa rahisi sana usio, then tunakubig up. So Morocco and Congo, I think he meant to say Morocco and DRC, Democratic Republic, because there's Congo and then there's Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC also. Kenya and Morocco, ni zombie from Katolo. Kenya and Morocco, but Kenya is leading. So those are some of your feedbacks from my side. Robbie, Sedo, Roger Shtemi, back to you.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Let's now shift gears. We get into Group C. Remember, tomorrow action is all in Group C. So let's take a look at the standings in Group C before taking a look at the fixtures that we have tomorrow in Group C. Remember, Uganda top that group with 6 points, followed by Algeria, who have 4. And then South Africa have 4, Guinea have 3, Niger yet to get a point in the group. So this is how the group stands. So tomorrow, 2 fixtures in Group B, Group C rather, and they will see Guinea take on Algeria as Niger takes on South Africa. Uganda will not be in action. So let's go back to Group C. This, gentlemen, you've seen the fixtures. Now, back to Group C. Uganda, 6 points. They are not playing this weekend, but their final match on Monday will be against South Africa. Algeria, they're playing Guinea tomorrow. Very interesting. South Africa taking on Niger. Sedo. This is also very tough.
Quite interesting. Just like Group A, here there are some mathematics that are actually bound to come thereafter. Similarly, going by how actually the group is lining. As in point different is not that gap like in Group B where the Tanzania has already run away with everything. Here, I think Algeria versus Guinea. Algeria actually stands a very prime space of hosting Guinea, simply because Guinea also, just like Zambia, Guinea has already lost it. And they will be just playing for the same ceremoniously, necessarily not actually picking those points that can really advance them to the next phase of the tournament.
But Sedo, with the mathematics, Guinea will be playing their final game tomorrow. What if they win? They go to 7 points.
Yeah, if they win tomorrow, they will go to 6 points.
Yeah, 6 points, sorry.
Not
6 points. Which means Algeria has to win their final game.
Yes. Which means the mathematics and mathematical permutation will still continue until to the tail end of that particular group.
South Africa,
if they pick a draw actually will send them to off the balance, and they will actually have like locked Guinea out of the contention. South Africa, given that it's the only Southern African team that is remaining in the tournament, that only starts also building their own pressure. They need actually to work hard and bring that glory. You know, South Africa actually, they have been a team that has really represented the southern part of the continent, the glorified southern part of the continent. Coming into this particular tournament, you watch in all actually their media spaces, they have been talking of good, how they celebrate about their leagues and everything. So coming to this tournament, they need to tell a story of how their league is so superior vis-a-vis the other sub-Sahara country. And that's what we'll be looking actually to see come tomorrow, what South Africa can do in this particular group.
From Algeria and South Africa, if they win their next 2 games, Uganda might be out.
Not really.
Yes, because Algeria is playing Niger in the final game. And then South Africa will be playing Uganda.
Absolutely. That's where I was headed to. Uganda, Nigeria. I think this is a replicate of what will already have happened with Group A. That is another group of death, because here the permutation, it's everybody for himself, God for us all, and you have to win your matches. Don't bank on somebody else to win your matches, because if you flip off, definitely you'll be out. So we are expecting a very closely contested match between South Africa and Uganda. That is on the final day of the group
That's
C.
on Monday.
Yeah. But looking at Algeria, I think by then they'll have known exactly if they are already through or not. But also don't rule out Guinea. Guinea might also spoil the party for Algeria and complicate everything for Algeria, because in football anything is possible. Bearing in mind that indeed Algeria are wounded coming from that defeat against Uganda, where they felt maybe they would have at least gotten at least a point, but things never went the way they expected. But right now it's, I think the top 4 teams, the top 4 teams, it's still in their hands. Though maybe Guinea, their chances are too slim, bearing in mind they'll be playing the final game of the tournament.
Football, yes. Everything here is not as rosy as people might think.
So,
even Niger can spoil the party for South Africa.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look at the fixtures for tomorrow. You give us your predictions as we wrap up. Those two fixtures that will be in action in Group C tomorrow. Guinea, Algeria, who's winning, Cedric?
Algeria.
Eshtemi?
Algeria.
Niger, South Africa?
South Africa.
South Africa.
South Africa. Thank you very much, Cedric Msumba and Roger Seshtevi, of course, for coming in and giving us your views as we break down what was happened, or rather what is expected in Group A in CHAN 2024, as well as Group C. That is where we wrap it up. My name is Robinson Okenye, and you back to Hassan Juma.
Thank you, Robbie, Roger Shtemi and Cedric Msumba. Someone here says, if we lose against Zambia, then Morocco and Congo, DRC draw, we're out of the tournament. So let me go through some of your messages here. I'm Delo, Kenya and Morocco will manage up to the final. Uganda and South African. I'm Reagan from Dandora. Okay. Kenya is pushing up. Niviki from Kiambu. Algeria to win 4-2. A head-to-head is used here, not goal difference. Kenya and Morocco, Charles from Kiuri. Kenya hadi tamati ni Peter Njao from Nakuru. Nani mgine? You don't know? Okay. Kenya and Morocco. Okay, let me go through your WhatsApp messages. I'm Edwin from Matunda. I'm following Kenya and Morocco. Siku zote ni DePaul from Kericho. It's Kate, I think Morocco, and I think she meant Congo, DRC. Kenya must win. Lewis from Kisumu, Kenya and Congo. Hi, I'm Brian Kimotich from Kitale, Kenya and Morocco all the way. Someone here, Kenya and I'm Dolphin, Kenya and Morocco will qualify. Thanks very much for your time. Let's meet tomorrow at around 10 for Zilizala v Wanjani. But of course, we'll still have CHAN 24 at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. together with my colleagues Daniel Karaoke, Robinson Okenye, Cedric Msumba, Rogers Eshite. But for me, it's bye for now. Bye-bye.